What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Coach Plays and our series of Between Two Whistles, and welcome to the weekend wrap-up as we are getting ready to recap everything that happened across the NFL and college football this weekend. I am your host, the Coach Plays, Coach Carver, along here with the other co-host, Coach Flat. Coach Flat, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good, buddy. How are you?
We're doing good. We already got a lot of people in the house. Random Gaming, Catfish Theory, Butcher's Block, and Patriots Talk is in the house. We appreciate everybody being in here. So we're going to go ahead and just dive right into it. And the first one we've got we're going to talk about, we're going to go ahead and dive into NFL Week 14. And I'm going to pull up some games here, and we'll just Coach Flat, you can stop me at any point if there's some games that you want to hit on. But, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So we got the Cowboys and the Bears Thursday night. The Bears get a win, 31-24. And at this point, all Cowboys fans have to completely be losing their minds because they just continue to lose while Ethan Crisp is in the house. But they just continue to lose. And there's, of course, you've got a whole lot of crap happening over there in Jerry's world where of course the owner's always going to be an issue with the Dallas Cowboys, and a lot of fans are distraught, and they're just completely done with Jason Garrett. Real quick, you can kind of touch on what – I know you're not a Cowboys fan, neither am I, but what do you think's going on over there?
Yeah, they seem to be having a lot of issues. Obviously, they're always going to be a topic of conversation around the National Football League. Jason Garrett's seemingly been on the hot seat for like 4 years now. And they just continue to hang on to him. I think this finally might be the year that they do make a change. We'll see. You had the Jerry Jones, a couple weeks ago saying, I am confident that Jason Garrett will be a coach in the National Football League next year. And people were like, with the Cowboys or somewhere else, so he didn't really specify that it was going to be with the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys have pretty good personnel. I think they got a good roster. I think they have some talent.
They got a lot of talent, man.
And some good pieces. And this year it's just kind of gone awry for them. So, I mean, obviously you hear Big Fish with that name. That job hadn't been open in a little while, but you hear, Urban Meyers and Lincoln Riley's name. So
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that job. The Cowboys aren't going to make the playoffs probably, even though they play in the worst division in football. So, maybe they can still have a chance. But the Giants winning tonight would help them a little bit. So, yeah, I mean,
that's actually that division. We'll hit on the NFL standings coming up soon, but that division is not very good.
No, it's terrible. It's awful. I mean, you could legitimately be looking at a 7-9 team winning the division.
No doubt.
So, yeah.
Butcher's Block came in here with a nice comment. He said, "Cowboys losing makes me happy."
Yeah. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people say you either love or hate the Cowboys. I'm kind of indifferent, honestly. I just, I don't really care about them. But, I do think they have some good weapons on their team, and they still got a good offensive line. They've got Zeke, they've got Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott's meh. But, other than, they've got good pieces on defense, Byron Jones and the likes like that. So, I still think the Cowboys are going to be okay personnel-wise, but it's probably time to move along in the coaching ranks and see if they can't find somebody other than Jason Garrett to lead the charge. The problem is, I don't see an Urban Meyer or a Lincoln Riley really wanting to come in and deal with Jerry Jones much, but we'll see. I could be wrong about that. Some of the NFL players older than Lincoln Riley, that's 100% fact, but some of the NFL players are older than Sean McVay as well, so he's doing okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we'll continue down the list. Colts and the Buccaneers. This was a game that the Colts led throughout the whole game, but the Buccaneers find a way to get the win at the end, 38-35, that score. And as far as the Tennessee Titans fans are concerned, I mean, that's a very good loss can I say for the Colts to lose that game? That's a big win for the Tennessee Titans to kind of get a little bit of breathing room from the Colts. Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills, 24-17. The Ravens come out on top. Buffalo had a lot of chances to win that game, but ultimately the Ravens come out on top, and they're still the best team in the AFC. But it did come out that apparently Lamar Jackson has had an injury from it. I didn't quite see what his injury is, but they've got a short week. They play on Thursday night. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of unfolds going forward. Butcher Block says, "Hey, Coach, I got some free time. I'll jump in if you want." Yeah, here in just a second, we'll put you in, and I'll drop the link, and we'll get 3 in here. Tyreek Elaine says 2 hours until. Okay, so we're gonna just knock that one down. Yeah. Whatever.
Okay, so I just want to touch real quick. I saw that it's a quad injury for Lamar. So Harbaugh said it's not anything serious, but you're right, with a short week, maybe that hampers him a little bit. I guess he'll play, but we'll see if it slows him down any bit with his ability to run the ball. So hopefully, for their sake, hopefully not, but that'd be interesting to follow along with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So
Tom Brady's age is higher than his QBR. Yes.
Who said that? Oh, Random Gaming. That's a pretty good one. So yeah, let's keep going. Vikings and Lions. Vikings get that win 20-7. Green Bay Packers get a win again 20-15, but a close one against the Washington Redskins. And we'll hit on this one a little bit, and then I'll bring in Butcher's Block because we'll talk a little bit New England Patriots. But Denver Broncos 38, Houston Texans 24. And for all Tennessee Titans fans out there, they really wanted to see that one. No one really expect that one. I don't know if you really watched it, but that's a big loss, and it's now going to set up a really big Week 15 game between the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I watched a lot of that game, obviously with the Titans implications on the line and the Titans being in that 3 o'clock slot rather than the noon slot this week. It's pretty rare for them. But I thought Drew Lock was pretty impressive, especially in the first half. They got out to the 31-3 lead. I didn't actually catch a lot of the second half. I kind of, once it got to 31-3, I kind of cut it off, assuming that the Broncos would hold on. And there was a big Fortnite tournament going on that I tuned into. So I cut it off before the Titans game started. But it's a huge win with big Titans implications there. The Texans were a game ahead of the Titans. Now they fall back into a tie with those two teams meeting in Nashville this week. So obviously a massive result for the Titans to see the Broncos kind of get an upset there over the Texans. So that was a huge result there for the Titans. But
absolutely. Butcher's Block, I just dropped that link. You can go ahead and click on that. We'll get you in here in a minute. Cincinnati Bengals 19, Cleveland Browns 27. In what game probably a lot of people didn't watch unless you're fans of those teams. But the Cleveland Browns find themselves still in a chance. They got a long shot to make the playoffs, but that does keep them as far as being able to have that opportunity to make the playoffs. Falcons 40, Panthers 20. Falcons get the win. The Panthers really looked like a team that was going to do really well this year. I thought they had an MVP candidate with Christian McCaffrey, but they have hit a hill. They've went down, and they're not playing a lot of good football. Ultimately, it led to them firing their head coach, which I don't know if it's warranted, but, I mean, he's been there a while. They haven't had a whole lot of playoff wins. He had that one season where he got them to the Super Bowl, but other than that, apparently they are ready to move on and find a different head coach. I think Rivera is going to easily find another head coaching job upcoming this season. Dolphins 21, Jets 22, and a very close game that I 100% did not watch, because why would I sit on a perfectly good Sunday and watch the Dolphins versus the Jets? if there's anybody in the stream who did watch that game, please let me know, because I most certainly did not watch that game.
Moving on.
Chargers 45, Jaguars 10, and once again, the Chargers, man, that's a team that had a lot of expectations, and just for whatever reason, it has not panned out for them. They get a win against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I don't think they have any shot of making any playoffs this year. I think they are eliminated last time I've checked.
Yeah, they're gone.
All right, and here we go. We'll go ahead and bring in Butcher's Block. Butcher's Block, welcome to the Coach Plays stream. We appreciate you coming on. What's up, Butcher Block?
What's going on, guys? How you doing? How's my audio? Is it good?
Yeah,
your audio is great.
All right, man. What's going on, fellas? What a disappointing loss that was for the Pats.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're getting into now. Kansas City Chiefs 23, New England Patriots 16. For any of you who don't know Butcher's Block, he's right here in the chat. You can click on his link. Go check out his channel. He's got a lot of great content, but he's a huge New England Patriots fan. He's always doing watch-alongs of New England Patriot. I was in on that watch-along, and I sat there and I remember just watching the frustration just continue to build on your face as the Patriots just seem to have, for whatever reason, a lack of offense. I mean, when you're talking about that is led by Tom Brady, you normally don't see that. We'll give the floor away to you, as you being the New England Patriots fan who watches every snap. What's going on with the Patriots?
There's so many different. It's a bunch of just issues just compiled into one. I mean, to start the season, they lost David Andrews, their starting center, and the quarterback. The center's the quarterback of the offense. He makes the calls at the line, the blocking schemes, all the, he's the general of the offensive line. And Brady and Andrews, the starter, work together. Brady calls the, receivers, and he points the protections out, and then the center makes his own calls as well. So you lose that. You lose the starting center. And then last game, they lost David Andrews' backup. So they were playing the third string center this week. And on top of that, the offensive line just is not good. They haven't performed well all year long. The Shaq, our line last year, two of our best linemen are not playing up to par at all. So you add that in, and then Brady, because of the bad offensive line, has developed, he's human, so he's developed bad habits. If you watch, he's got an internal clock now, and he never used to. It's 1001, 1002, and the ball's out. No matter if if the guy is open or not, it's out of his hands, because he doesn't want to take the hits, because he knows he's got to stay on. He's the best shot they have right now. He's the best shot they have, and if he's taking hits left and right, it's not a good formula. That's not a good formula to have your 42-year-old quarterback take a blindside hit, and it's just not good. And then they have no faith in the offensive line, so they don't run the ball. So they abandon the run quick, and then it's just they ask Brady to do too much. And when the defense is asked to come back out on the field every 3 plays, you've seen it the last couple of games now with better teams, better competition now. The defense is wore out. It's, they get wore out more easy. Every 3 plays, they're back on the field. So you just compile it all, and it's the talent just, it seems like it's just not there this year. They're doing the best they can with what they have, and they're just coming up against teams with, the Ravens were not afraid. The Ravens were not afraid of them. Their game plan was to come in and punch them in the mouth, and they had no fear of the Pats at all. And Harbaugh's a good coach, and Andy Reid's the same way. Andy Reid's a good offensive-minded coach, and they did just enough. The Chiefs at the end of the game tried to give that game back to them. They did. They tried to give that game back to the Patriots, but they were very lucky that the first half it was all Kansas City, and they had developed that lead that they did. I believe me, I'm the biggest Patriot fan out there. I mean, but I'm also realistic about the team too. And there's question marks this year about the team. There's a lot of question marks. The receiving core they're all young. They're all they're young. They're inexperienced. He's having even the veteran guys that are in there, he doesn't trust. So it's the only guy he trusts is Edelman. Edelman and James White are the only two people that he can count on. And they're just doing what they can with what they have. And I mean, did the refs make some bad calls that game? They did, but the Pats put themselves in a situation where they had to rely on stuff like, like they dug themselves that entire first half. They did not wake up until the fourth quarter. And you can't, when you play an offensive minded team like Kansas City, like Baltimore, you can't do that. You can't wake up in the fourth quarter. You gotta play 60 minutes of football.
They definitely their competition has risen the past couple of weeks, and I mean it has showed. Random Gaming came in with a comment to add to Butcher. There were some horrible calls by the refs in that game, but ultimately, when I still feel like, and Coach Flatt, I'll come to you about this, but when it comes to the New England Patriots, it's still the Patriots to me. When I see that, I still see a lot of weapons. I know the talent might be somewhat down, but anytime you've got Tom Brady back there, I think they're going to have that chance. They're going to have that chance once again in the playoffs to say, you know what, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's the number one seed. You still got to get through the Patriots to go to the playoffs. Now, whether that offensive line is struggling or not, that could change everything. But Coach Flatt, I don't know if you watched the game at all. I don't know if you've watched the past two games, but if you have, what's your thoughts on the New England Patriots right now? All it is back-to-back losses, and it seems like for a lot of New England Patriot fans that they might be seeing this come crashing down. Are they reading too much into it, or do you think there might be something there?
I still have a lot of faith. I don't know, not necessarily in I have faith in Brady, but I have a lot of faith in Bill Belichick. And we've seen him and the Patriots organization win Super Bowls and win playoff games and make deep runs with a lot of different style teams. We've seen the defense lead the way. We've seen Brady lead the way in the offense. And I still have the faith that when they get to the playoffs, he'll be able to formulate a game plan around that defense. The defense is still very, very, very good. They did a good job against Mahomes and the Chiefs, I thought, for the most part. Like Butcher was saying, they were on the field so much, and for them to be on the field so much and still, kind of hold that Chiefs offense in check, still give themselves an opportunity to be in there at the end of the game and have a little bit of a chance to win the game. I still feel like Belichick and that team and that coaching staff, and then, of course, Brady can formulate a good enough game plan to where, there's not going to be a team in the AFC, whether it's the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Titans, or whoever, that says, oh, yeah, we're playing the Patriots. They've sucked all year. Their offense is in shambles. Let's play the Patriots. There's going to be everybody in the AFC that says, the Patriots are on the other side. Thank goodness. Let's go play somebody else. And that's just the respect that they've earned. And you can look at the Patriots and say, yeah, their offense is in shambles. They're playing, really bad on the offensive line. They're doing this and that. But at the end of the day, as far as the other teams are concerned, I guarantee you they don't want to play them. So, I'll just ask Butcher. I don't know. Is Andrews out for the entire year?
He is. He is done for the year.
And what about
the take in Boston is there? It's funny you mentioned that you have faith in the coaching staff. The take in Boston that's going around is that, they're relying on kind of the stupidity of the other teams, where the coaching staff in New England nobody capitalizes on mistakes better than they do. Nobody capitalizes on mistakes better than they do. And it's funny. They were talking about it today. The radio hosts of the local, the beat writers and stuff. They still have confidence because they have no confidence in the rest of the coaches in the AFC in the playoffs between them.
I've kind of got to say, like, if you're in Boston and you feel like the other coaches in the AFC are inept or whatever, I feel like it's more that Belichick's just that much better. I mean, these guys are very good coaches, a lot of them, or all of them. But
Harbaugh scares me. Having to play the Ravens again in the playoffs with the role that they're on, that team, that is the only team that could probably actually come in if they needed to come into Gillette and actually beat the Patriots. That's the only team. That's the team that realistically scares me.
Yeah, and I mean, so yeah, Harbaugh, and they have the most dangerous weapon of all the teams as well. As far as Lamar. So yeah, I mean, I feel like there's some other. I feel like any given day anybody can win, but at the end of the day, and I feel like the Chiefs can beat the Patriots come playoff time as well. The problem is that if it's my gut, I'm going with the best coach that's ever done it. I'm going with Belichick, and I'm going to say somebody's going to have to go beat him because, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, the only person that consistently, and I say consistently, it was like 50-50 when they faced off, gave the Patriots problems in the playoffs was Peyton. And so, Peyton's gone. And until somebody else in the AFC proves that they can get past the Patriots, then I still am going to think that they're okay. So we'll see, and we go through this every year. Like we said, it's always something different with the Patriots, but they've still got that core. And, if they can just, play decent the offensive line, I guess you would say. We saw the Titans' offensive line was so terrible at the beginning of the year and has turned things around. And as long as Brady and Belichick can do things to help that offensive line as far as calling out the protections and them getting all of that stuff right and calling out the fronts and making sure that they're all right with that schematically, I think that the Patriots will be fine on offense as well. So,
No, I would definitely agree. I would definitely agree. It's
as a Patriots fan, do you have faith that you guys can make another Super Bowl run, or how do you feel about it?
If we make it past, if we can get past Baltimore, I think they're the biggest threat. Yeah. If we can get past Baltimore, I think they're the biggest threat. We've played Seattle before. We know how to handle them.
Yeah. Make sure they throw it at the 1 yard line.
Goodness gracious, man.
We've played Seattle.
I still think about that game and how in the world did they not run Marshawn Lynch until they couldn't run him anymore. It's
like literally the dumbest Super Bowl call in history. You have
100%.
possibly the greatest, possibly one of the greatest running backs of a generation in Marshawn Lynch. If it was me, if I was Pete, I'd have run them all 4 downs.
Yeah, no doubt.
You're telling me Marshawn Lynch has 4 tries to get 2.5 yards?
When he ran all over the New England Patriots that whole game. It wasn't like, it's been a tough night running the ball. No, they had their way.
No, the Seahawks ran the ball all over the Patriots in that Super Bowl. They couldn't stop it. They could not stop Marshawn Lynch.
Yep.
Yeah, so ultimately, I still think that, while it's been here's the thing, it has been a bad couple games for the New England Patriots, but this is where teams like the Ravens and the Chiefs they're not banking on beating the Patriots. It's going to be extremely hard to beat the Patriots twice in one season. That's the thing. That's where you give it to Belichick is, okay, you got me once. We're going to put all of our eggs into the basket and we'll beat you into the playoffs. That's where I still feel like for New England Patriot fans, while, there is some reasons to be concerned, ultimately you got Tom Brady, you got Bill Belichick, you still got Julian Edelman. I still think people like Sony Michel are very serviceable backs. I think the Patriots will be the Patriots come in the playoffs until they prove me otherwise. If I was a betting man, it's hard for me to bet against the New England Patriots.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So it's funny you mentioned. So story time with Butcher, 5 minutes. All right. So the AFC title game with the Chiefs, right? In the hotel lobby in Kansas City they were staying at, right?
Yeah.
They installed 7 brand new plays in the lobby of the hotel room 2 hours before the game, right? In the game, they ran 5 of those plays of the 7, and all 5 worked.
Yeah.
You talking the Kansas City Chiefs did that?
No, the Patriots did that in the lobby of their hotel room. They installed 7 new plays into the game plan, and they ran 5 of them, and all 5 worked.
Some last minute adjustments there.
I mean, it's.
I mean, they're always, that's why when I get back to Belichick and Brady as well. I mean, they're going to out prepare everybody that they face. I mean, that's just the reality of the New England Patriots. They've done it for years. You hear all the stories about the Patriots and how they're always ahead, whether it's analytics or whether it's like the draft where they were the only team to go to that certain test that they thought was telling them everything they needed to know about whether a player could go in the league, and they were the only team there for like 4 straight years. I mean, you hear all this stuff about how the Patriots are just the most innovative and they continue to stay above the curve. So, stuff like that, I mean, is just why, somebody's got to knock them off. And until somebody prepares the way they do, it's going to be tough for somebody to beat them.
No, I agree. Until somebody knocks them down, until someone knocks them down and proves that they can beat them. Yeah. I mean, it hasn't happened. I mean, until like it's always tough to bet against. It's always tough to bet until somebody proves that they can punch them in the mouth repeatedly, not just once.
Yeah. That's the thing. You can get Belichick once or twice through the season, but it's another animal to get him twice.
Yeah. And in high pressure situations, you punch Bill Belichick in the mouth in the playoffs, you can stick that feather in your cap because that does not happen often.
Yeah, because I mean, if they do meet up with a Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, how many playoff games have Lamar Jackson played in, and how many has Tom Brady played in? That's where that experience you can't just throw that out the window, and that's what the New England Patriots have is a ton of experience in high pressure games in the playoffs. So, but we've got plenty of time to talk about those topics because those games are coming. We'll wrap up the NFL picks, the NFL recaps here. The Steelers with a big win, 23-17. That keeps them in the wild card race. They're currently in that 6th spot. The Titans really could have used a Pittsburgh Steelers loss, but it did not happen. Seattle Seahawks lays an egg in L.A. on Sunday night, 28-12, and what I thought was, the Seattle Seahawks were going to have no issue with that, and then all of a sudden, the Rams are starting to pick up some steam, and maybe they can make a late push for the playoffs on that NFC side.
And Lamar Jackson probably clinched the MVP award with that game, probably.
I agree. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Pretty much had Russell Wilson as his main competition for the award. So, I mean, I watched a little bit of it. I was kind of shocked and floored by the outcome. But then again, I mean, you go back to it, and Sean McVay, has been, so successful early on in his career. And we knew that the Rams were very talented. We saw it all last year. So when you think about things like that, it's not ultra surprising, but obviously, you expected Seattle to get the job done there. But big time win by the Rams and a damaging loss for the Seahawks, as they try to fight for home field advantage.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then the last game of the week right now is currently playing in the rain is picking up in Philadelphia, but the Eagles who is playing a New York Giants team that is being led by Eli Manning right now. Eli Manning really carved them up in the first half and looked really good. Eagles have just scored to kind of get this game within 7. It's currently the New York Giants 17, Philadelphia Eagles 10. So that will be interesting to see. I mean, if Eli Manning has a good week this week, if he somehow plays the last few weeks of the season, the Giants ain't going nowhere. But then if he has a few good weeks at the end of this season, what does that mean for Eli Manning? I don't think he's ready to hang it up, and I think there will be an NFL team out there who says, let me have a 2-time winning Super Bowl quarterback.
You know where I think he's going to end up?
Where's that?
I think he's going to Miami.
He could.
I think he's either going to Miami or Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I think Winston's out of there at the end of the season. I think they're going to get rid of him.
I think Winston has been way too inconsistent. Some weeks he's up here, some weeks he's down there. I ultimately agree. I think the Buccaneers have to move on from Winston.
Yeah, I think they probably move on as well. I think Miami's intriguing. You probably expect them to draft somebody early. So if they also signed Eli, you kind of got, you don't have to start the kid right away. You can let Eli mentor him a little bit and ease him along if he's not ready. And then if he is ready, you can start the kid and still let Eli mentor him if he's okay with that role. That'd be the only thing. But yeah, Tampa Bay is intriguing as well. But I kind of like that Miami idea.
Well, think about it, because it might be Tampa Bay's pretty intriguing because they got.
If he goes to Tampa Bay, that's going to set him up a lot better than a Miami. And I think ultimately
he's got Mike Evans.
My question is, why would he go to Miami? I mean, I could see reason why he would go to Tampa Bay.
Bigger payday, probably.
Yeah.
Bigger payday, and probably a better coach in Brian Flores. Probably a better coach.
Well, I mean, Tampa Bay's got what's his name? Play a coach for the Cardinals.
They got. I take that back. They got the guy from Arizona there.
They got the coach from Pagano. No, it ain't Pagano, is it? Arians.
Yeah. So he's
a good coach.
Arians is a QB guy, so that might match up real well down there. And with Mike Evans to throw to, that's pretty appetizing.
They could go get a Eli Manning and then draft him a young quarterback to kind of, build underneath him for the next 2 years. And then, that might be something. You might be onto something with that one. So that will be interesting to see. Real quick. So we just recapped all the games, and now we can go over here and kind of just look at the NFL standings and see how they match up before we hit on college football. New AFC East, New England Patriots are still up top, 10-3. Bills are at 9-4. The other two teams really don't matter, but I mean, the Bills are one game out. Butcher, have the Bills and Patriots played twice already?
No, they still have to play us at home in Foxborough, and if we lose again, that game is going to be for the division. If we lose again, that game is going to be for the division.
Wow. So even if you don't lose and you're one game above the Bills, if they beat you and y'all have a tied record, do y'all own a tiebreaker?
I think it's better conference record. I think that's the tiebreaker. Better record in the conference.
And okay.
And then if it goes to that, I think if it goes past that, because I think that would be the same. I'm pretty sure if that falls like that, we would have the same record as each other in the conference. And then it just goes to point differential. I think it's who's got the better point differential. And Buffalo might have that because we haven't scored a lot of points this year.
Yeah, that would be very interesting to kind of look in to see if it kind of gets to that point that,
Coach,
at the last week of the season, the Buffalo Bills would have a lot to play for in that game.
I would lose my mind, Coach. There would be an epic rant video coming from that. If the Bills ever jumped us in the standings, I would lose my mind.
Hey, I mean, yeah, that wouldn't be good for you, but that would be great for YouTube. Butcher's Block rant video. I'll be all over that.
Can I break some news?
But that is absolutely a viable situation, though. Like if the Pats do lose, that game between us and the Bills is for the division.
Can I break?
Which fight? You got something?
Go for it. Some completely random news. It has nothing to do with the NFL. But since this is a gaming and a sports YouTube channel, I want to announce that Major League Baseball and Sony have come to an agreement to bring MLB The Show to Xbox One
they didn't.
As early as 2021.
Wow. Okay. Why wait to 2021?
I don't know. But
Coach wants it now.
I want it now. Too.
Yeah, I mean, you can't come out with that news and say we're bringing it. We're bringing it in 2021.
He said the same thing with NCAA football. He's like, he's not happy enough that it's coming back. He's just like, I want it now.
I want it now. My patience run thin. So that is really big news. Holy cow! I mean,
really cool.
Coach Flat, we might have to do a video on just that news right there. Because that's going to be trending all over YouTube. You better believe it.
I know we'll get that.
All right, so let's keep going over the standings. So, yeah, like say Patriots and Bills might have a big matchup coming up. AFC West, the Chiefs sit at top at 9-4. The Raiders losing man, I think they've lost 3 in a row. At some point, they look like they might have
crushed this week too, didn't they?
Yeah, the Titans. It was 21-21, and then the Titans finally pulled that one out and ended up beating them down pretty good, 42-21. But at one point, the Raiders were 6-4, looking as a chance. They was kind of right there behind the Chiefs, and they've lost 3 in a row, and that's a sad story for them. You know, them moving to Las Vegas. You hate that for that fan base.
If the Titans make the playoffs, watch out, because they could punch somebody in the mouth unexpectedly.
Yeah, they're playing good football right now.
I mean, if you think about the two styles of play, you probably don't want to play in the playoffs. You think about a team that plays a very good defense and has a very good running game, and
that's what the Titans are doing right now.
Derrick Henry, when he is on, that dude is untackleable.
He's unstoppable.
He is untackleable.
Yeah.
He's like a rhino when he runs the football. He's a freight train.
I don't think people outside of Tennessee understand how fast Derrick Henry is. Like, this guy has lightning speed when he gets in the open field. I mean, it is unbelievable. I mean, he's I think recorded the third fastest time during a play in the NFL this year, and that's like every year that he's been in the league, he's done that. But you know, it just shows like he's just a freak athlete when you think about a 6'4", 245-pound guy running.
He's LeGarrette Blount 2.0.
Yeah, except bigger.
And then what makes him so unique is his wingspan. With that stiff arm, he is lethal. He is so deadly with that stiff arm.
His arm is like a tree limb. It's huge.
You're not making the tackle. So yeah, I don't think there's many teams that are going to want to play the Titans either. I think it's shaping up, if the Titans make the playoffs, to be a very compelling side of the bracket in the AFC. If you talk about the Titans, who are going to come in red hot if they make it, coupled with the Ravens, who have Lamar and is so electrifying, and then the Chiefs, who we all love to watch with Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and McCole Hardman and that offense. And then, of course, you've got the Patriots, who everyone loved to hate except you. But sure, but I mean, it's going to be awesome if you get all those teams there in the playoffs.
So if the Titans do make it, if they squeeze in there at the 6th spot, right?
Well, I mean, they're right there, tied for the division.
Yeah, they're tied for the division lead now. And
this is where it gets very interesting.
So
they are tied.
If you guys make it, the matchup favors you. Your first game, the matchup favors you guys.
Yeah,
because you would play in the divisional round. You'd play the.
Well, as of right now, it looks like whoever wins the division of the AFC South is probably going to be the 3 seed. So you would play the 6 seed. But here's a very interesting nugget that I've been saying.
You guys, the matchup would favor you. You could win that game.
They probably would. They might be the 3. They could be the 4. It depends on the Chiefs. But if they were the 4, or they're the 4, they could end up playing a rematch with the Bills.
And I would like that.
The Bills are going to be the top wild card team probably. Assuming that they don't knock off the Patriots. The Titans' luck, the freaking Titans will win the division, and the Patriots will get the wild card, and we'll go out in the first round.
And there you go.
But if you play the Bills, and you would play the Bills at home, right? Correct? It would be. Oh, you're winning that game.
Well, they beat us there already once this year.
No, listen,
they beat us 14-7 in a horrible game with Mariota.
Josh Allen is going to crap his pants in the playoffs, and Tennessee will win that by 14 points.
I think we'd beat them as well if we played them again.
But now here's something that I've been hearing also. Let's say the Titans win the division and the Steelers lose a game. Guess who's going to finish 6th in the AFC? The Houston Texans.
The Texans,
So the Titans would play the Texans 2 out of the last 3 weeks and then play them the very first week of the playoffs. You would see You would see 2 teams play each other 3 out of the past 4 weeks. That
could happen. That could happen the other way where the Texans.
Yeah, exactly.
When the Texans win the division, the Titans get the wild card too.
And that's a very interesting story there.
Could happen when you play a team 3 times in 4 weeks.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. All right, so continue on AFC North. The Ravens just continue to do what they do, 11-2. Steelers are at 8-5, and what they started out just horrible, and they ain't got a quarterback. They've been through 3 or 4 different quarterbacks now, but they are still finding ways to win games. Browns get to 6-7.
The Steelers remind me of the Broncos when they had Tebow. It's like people are like, go ahead and get in the playoffs because we're just gonna, somebody's gonna beat you. I mean, I don't think
you guys aren't afraid of the quack attack.
No, I'm not. But yeah, I mean, the Steelers have a very good defense. I think they've done an exceptional job to get the wins that they've gotten. But as far as the playoffs, I don't. The Steelers don't scare me. I don't know about y'all.
I'd take that duck and cook it, please.
Yeah.
So the Browns are at 6-7.
You're talking about the Patriots here. Titans kind of worried about everybody.
But no, like if you make it in there though, like there are certain scenarios where you could get past your first opponent.
The Titans can make a run. I mean, just like I said, the defense playing so well. Tannehill's playing out of his mind, and then of course Derrick Henry. So
he's going to win comeback player of the year.
Yeah,
that's what I said in last stream. I feel like he's got the best chance.
Hands down, going to win that award.
Yeah.
The dude is absolutely baller. Like it just goes to show you put him with a coach that'll fit the style with the quarterback.
That's true. Coach Flatt had a good point last stream, though. He thinks it's going to come down to him or Jimmy G. And Jimmy G, the 49ers get a lot more pub, get a lot more publicity. You could see that award go to Jimmy G.
I think Tannehill is really the leader for it. I just worry that the 49ers end up getting home field advantage or something throughout the NFC playoffs, and then how it is with all sports basically. A lot of the awards tend to go to whoever's team had the best record. So that's my only worry with it. But I mean, if you're logically, it should be Tannehill, like you said last stream. I mean, if you're talking about a true comeback. You're talking about a guy that was a starter for 6 years and then had to go sign somewhere else as a backup and coming back all the way from that. Whereas Garoppolo, was the backup in New England.
He was the golden boy.
Yeah, he was the golden boy. Thought to be very successful, and he turned out to be. Of course, they had a bad year, a rough time last year, but he's coming back from that a little bit, but not. I don't think that the comeback is quite as drastic as Tannehill.
Yeah, I don't think so. Random Gaming has a comment, said, what happened to Henry in the second quarter? He's been dealing with a little bit of a hamstring issue. Do not be scared if you hear throughout the whole week he ain't practicing. I think they're going to be very smart with him, but I 100% think he's good to go for the Houston Texans game. But they are going to try to.
I would sit him on purpose. I'd be like, no, you ain't practicing. If I was Vrabel, I'd be like, no, we need you. That offense runs through him. As long as Henry is running, y'all are good. As long as that running game is up and going, the Titans are good.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely, I agree. So we're going to move on to some college football. We won't be too long on this here. But as far as the college football games over the weekend, conference championship week, Oregon smashes Utah 37-15, and Utah had some hopes to get in the playoffs, and just
that was a beatdown.
Yeah.
It almost, like I say, it just makes it to where anyone who thought Utah had a chance, you didn't sound like you knew football after that game was over. Oregon stomped on them. Oklahoma.
That's a team. Oregon is a team with actual talent.
Yeah,
speed too.
I think a lot of these games, and they're not the biggest thing in the world, but a lot of these conference championship games, I want to talk about, the 3 I'm mainly talking about are the Oregon, Utah, the Virginia and Clemson, and the Ohio State, Wisconsin. If you didn't watch anything all year and you just look at the recruiting rankings for the last 4 years, you can pick who's going to win the games. I mean, realistically. Oregon, Utah might be the one that's close, but there's no way Wisconsin was going to beat Ohio State, and there's no way in hell that Virginia was even going to compete with Clemson.
No way.
So,
no shot.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate, that you've got like the Big Ten is a good conference, but it's stacked on one side of it. The Pac-12 is a decent conference, but it's more stacked on one side, and then the ACC is just atrocious other than one team. I mean, so it's kind of unfortunate on those three games that you have such what I thought weren't very competitive games. Although I think that Kyle Whittingham and Utah have a very good coaching staff. I'm really a big fan of Kyle Whittingham, but as far as talent, he's absolutely right. Oregon's got more talent. They got more size. They got more speed.
I will give Utah this though. With what they were working with, they've done pretty well.
Oh, they've done great.
They've done pretty good with what they have.
Of Whittingham and that staff, but as far as talent wise, you're right. They've got less speed, less size, less.
I mean, that's a good, that's what a good coaching staff can do though. Like they take what they have, and Utah performed even up against stiffer competition. They performed pretty good. I mean, they ran into a buzzsaw in Oregon, you know what I mean? But they performed pretty good with what they were working with.
Yeah. I mean, it ended up still being a really good year for Utah, and I mean, they was one win away from finding themselves in a college football playoff. So they just needed to use this year to jump on it.
Build on it. Yep.
I thought the Oklahoma and Baylor game was very entertaining to watch and very competitive. That ended up obviously being basically a college football play-in game into the playoff, with Oklahoma squeaking it out in overtime. So a lot of people get the storyline that they were hoping to get with Jalen Hurts leaving Alabama after the transfer and making it into the playoff. Actually ended up making it into the playoff, and Alabama didn't, which I doubt a lot of people saw that coming, as this is the first year Alabama's not made the playoff since it's existed. But yeah, that's, he's probably going, to have a one-night stand against LSU, but good story nonetheless of them making it into the playoff.
I tell you one thing, OSU versus LSU is going to be awfully interesting.
Yeah, and actually, of the last two,
because I think that's what it's going to be. I think LSU and OSU are going to play each other for the title.
I have said for about 6 weeks, I think Ohio State's the best team in the country. For some reason, and we're not getting into, or I don't think we are getting into predictions here, but I really think the last couple of days, I think Clemson is going to win it all.
Wait. You think Clemson's going to win it all?
I have the last couple of days really started to look at Clemson a little closer, and it's so hard to gauge because they don't play anybody. But
somebody sound the alarm. That's a hot take right there.
That is a hot take. But I mean, that's the thing. You say it's a hot take, and I tend to agree. But, man, at what point has Clemson just got disrespected by all of the nation? They've done nothing but do what they have supposed to do and beat everybody. And not only beat everybody, but flat out slap them around.
I think a lot of people saw that early game against North Carolina where they won by 3 points or whatever.
And freaked out.
And freaked out about Clemson. But look at Clemson since then, man. I mean, and for some reason in my gut, the last couple of days, I thought, you know what? Everybody's talking about LSU and how great Joe Burrow is, and he is. He's the number one pick. He's going to win the Heisman Trophy. They expect him to win the national championship. Everybody's talking about Ohio State and how good of a run they had in the Big Ten. And I'm thinking, quietly behind the scenes, I kind of feel like Clemson's going to go ahead and win it again.
Well, I would not be entirely shocked if that happens. Right? Also, real quick, guys, while you're talking, if I'm just over here laughing, I promise you, Coach Flatt, I'm not laughing at you. My wife is behind the camera just acting a fool right now. So y'all continue.
Same.
I got my cat here. He ain't acting a fool, but he's snoring.
But yeah, no, like I say, I wouldn't be entirely too shocked, but you just feel like LSU and this actually I got this picture and it's actually invalid. LSU's number 1, Ohio State number 2, and then you got Clemson and Georgia. So that one's actually invalid. I just noticed that. But yeah, I mean,
so what's the playoff looks like? So LSU plays Clemson, right?
No, LSU plays Oklahoma.
LSU plays Oklahoma. All right.
Will end in blood, and Clemson plays Ohio State.
Oh yeah, they're. See, that Clemson Ohio State game is going to be really interesting.
Really, really interesting.
Because here's the thing, Clemson's defense is pretty good.
Really good.
Pretty good. So Ohio State's going to actually but see, it's the receivers from Ohio State are actually going to run into corners and safeties that can man people up and lock you down. So can they get separation or not? That's the question.
And one of the things that I've thought about a little bit is think about how hungry those Clemson players are going to be to have a game. Like they've been walking through people and they've been just walking over everybody. And they're going to go into that game thinking, finally, we're playing somebody that is worthy of stepping on the field with us. And I think that they're going to come out very, very motivated. I think they're going to play really, really well against Ohio State. That's kind of why I've shifted. I still think Ohio State's great. I think they're arguably the best team in the country, but I am kind of leaning towards
it. Would be a huge, with the bet, like the betting, like that would be a huge upset. What is that a candy cane dangler? Like is that a candy cane and a dog?
My wife's just like popping these bubbles. She just she loves these bubbles. She just pops them all day.
But that would be
I can't hear you.
You hear me now?
Myself. Wow. Yeah. So that was my wife dangling a candy cane, trying to entice the dog. That way she can just mess with the stream. I think this is what happens when you live stream just a little bit later than you normally do.
So has Carol had as much wine as Natasha has had tonight?
She's had absolutely zero.
Not had any wine.
Apparently she hadn't had any either. I don't know.
All right, but yeah, so no, I think it's going to be great. I know we're going to do some watch-alongs. I think we're definitely at least going to do a watch-along of that Clemson and Ohio State game because I'm just going to throw this out there. Is there anybody else?
That could be the game of the week. That could be the game of the year.
Is there anybody else who thinks that the Oklahoma LSU game is going to be a game, or does everybody think?
No, are you kidding me? LSU is going to roll through. Like it's not even going to be. Joe Burrow is he is ridiculous. I will say this though, he is the typical pocket passer, and the way you beat him is you throw him, you knock him out of the pocket. If you can force him out of the pocket, it's a different story.
You see, I thought that kind of going into the game, but he made plays with his legs against Georgia.
No, I know he did, but I still think he is. When you give him time in the pocket, you've seen what he can do. His accuracy and that's the speed in which he can throw those crossing routes. He'll tear you.
Deadly in the pocket.
He will tear you apart. You have to, as much as like Georgia had the right game plan. They put him on the move. They made him. They flushed him from the pocket. But Burrow just that was the first game where I actually saw some like it was like there was one throw that he got flushed to the right. It was on like a 3rd and long, and he threw it across his body, across the field, and it was an accurate. What in the heck is that?
That's another dog.
That is a furry rat.
Hey, I think my laptop's
My
probably
cat,
about to go out.
Colt, I kid you not, my cat is bigger than that dog.
Oh, 100%. This is a tiny dog, man. I'm going to give this dog back to my wife before the dog takes over the show.
My dock is bigger than that dog.
Yeah. Holy cow. Look at that cat.
Look, I mean, I'm not kidding. Look.
The cat is 100% bigger than that dog.
It's bigger. Yeah.
19 and a half pounds.
So, yeah, like say, Coach Flatt, his laptop's dying, and the dogs are getting restless. So we're going to wrap this thing here up. Butcher Blog, real quick before we wrap it up, we appreciate you joining the stream, giving us your input on the New England Patriots, maybe the New England Patriots downfall. If it continues to go down, we'll get you back on the channel, let you rant a little bit more, but I don't think it's going to go that far down.
Believe me, if they go down, rant videos will be coming.
The rants are going to go up. So, yeah, no, absolutely. We appreciate you joining the show. And real quick, I'll give you Coach Flatt, you got anything else to say?
Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, real quick, I want to know from Butcher what it's like to be a Boston sports fan. Because I feel like is it even nice when you win a championship at this point?
We're in a drought, man. It's been like 8 months since we've had a parade. That's a drought.
Oh gosh.
Oh, we've never had one ever.
So
Titans go to the Super Bowl.
So between the Red Sox, the Patriots, the Bruins, and the Celtics, over the last 25 years, I think we've had 20 parades.
What is it like?
Or 18 parades, I think.
Do you get excited
that when you all have a parade now that people don't even talk because it's like an everyday Wednesday?
The biggest one the biggest parade that ever took place in Boston was that 2001 Super Bowl when they beat the Rams. 4.5 million people, half the state showed up to Boston in that parade. They basically had to shut the state down. People were calling out of work. They basically shut the state down for like a half a day.
If you can still hear me, my laptop went black, so I will.
Yeah, we can still hear you. This is exactly what happens when a laptop dies.
In the process. No, but it's. Oh, there he goes. He is gone. Coach Flatt is out.
Coach Flatt has officially left the building. So, but
yeah,
no,
I believe me, Colt. The Boston sports fan, we're spoiled, man. We are. I will give it to you. We are absolutely spoiled. I remember what it was like before Brady. I remember what it was like before Brady got here and having to deal with, all the. Dude, I watched that Green Bay and Patriots Super Bowl and was heartbroken as Brett Favre stomped my team into the ground.
Yeah.
Like I went through all that. I went through them bad years. It's
then old Tom Brady showed up.
And then I'm telling you, these fans, when Brady retires, they're in for a rude awakening. Hello, welcome to my childhood.
And that's the only thing. If they still had a Garoppolo behind them, boy, the Patriots could go on for years and years, but now they're going to have to find that quarterback. That's for sure. So it'll be interesting, but hopefully people down here in Tennessee gets one day. Titans went to the Super Bowl, and we had the agony of being 1 yard short. The Predators,
I remember that.
Stanley Cup.
I was rooting for you guys so bad in that game. Like, I want a yard short. Like, just, oh God.
You don't know how many times sports fans here see the 1 yard short play still. It's like 20 years later, and we're still 1 yard short. It's bad. It's bad. And then, like, say, the Predators go to the Stanley Cup playoffs just a couple years ago and came up against the Penguins, and we kind of got shafted on a couple calls, and then next thing you know, we've been close.
No, believe me, it's But when you get one, though, like having to wait like that, and just when you get one, it's going to be that much. But like we waited for years and years, like for the Red Sox and the Patriots. Like when you get that for that, I was at that parade when there was 4.5 million people there. It's something else. Like it's a sight. It is a sight. That many people coming together to celebrate one team, and that's just in one state. Like it's something else, man.
I can tell you right now, the school I work at, if and when that day comes and the Titans win a Super Bowl, I will be putting in a off day. It would be a very smart move on them to just go ahead and cancel schools in all of Middle Tennessee at that point, you know. So,
but like
I say, Butcher, I really do appreciate you coming on this stream. This has been a good one. I do think I'll be able to get on your stream tomorrow, so I'll message you. We'll lock down a time and
absolutely, man. Colt game that that the college football playoff this year is going to be incredibly entertaining.
Oh, it's going to be good
with the teams that are in there, though, because all 4 of them teams are they want that trophy bad.
No, and ultimately, if it comes, like say the Ohio State Clemson game is going to be really entertaining. Maybe Oklahoma can surprise some people. But then I think if it ends up being LSU versus Clemson or LSU versus Ohio State, because Joe Burrow coming from Ohio State, I think that's got a lot of storylines to it. So, no, I think a lot of college football fans should be getting excited right now.
Oh, the playoff's going to be awesome. No matter what game you watch. And then the national, like the storylines, whatever way it falls, the national title game is going to be can't miss. It's going to be can't miss.
And then here's the thing. Right before we leave, a lot of people was talking about they shouldn't have a playoff. They shouldn't have a playoff. Well, right now you would have 3 undefeated teams between LSU, Ohio State, and Clemson, and one of them wouldn't get in.
Yeah. So how do you? Yeah. So it's like, yeah.
So it's going to be to our benefit. So, like say. Butcher, I appreciate you joining the stream, and everybody else who got in here on the comments, we appreciate you as always. And guys, until next time, peace.
Peace. We out.